Gentlemen, it's time to attack the bulk. We've talked about attacking the work, about not hesitating, about giving life all you've got, and a new season has finally emerged, the dark season. And I'm so glad it aligned with the release of the trailer for The Odyssey. I've always wanted to star in a Sinbad the Sailor film. That was my the dream of Captain Sinbad, or the Sinbad the Sailor, who is basically like a Hercules archetype out of the Middle East. It has tropes like genies, cyclopses, sirens in the water that bring sailors to shipwreck. And all of that really aligns with the fable of The Odyssey. I didn't realize that. And then I saw the trailer for Christopher Nolan's new film come out, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is like a Sinbad the Sailor movie. Finally, after all this time. That trailer's release aligned with the start of the new season. Ever since having finished Iron Man, Indian Wells, and finally getting some level of success from that, I'm transitioning now. I'm transitioning to a bulk. And it's scary. For a lot of guys, the first ambition that you need to achieve is leaning out first. It depends on where you are in your fitness journey, but to put on a bunch of strength, to put on a bunch of muscle while already fat, it really isn't that impressive. But one of the best ways that you can stand out as a guy is to have a sufficient amount of muscle mass. And despite being 4.5 years into the gym, I never crossed that line. I mean, I got strong for a bit, but the rep ranges were too low in my first year of lifting for it to really have an impact. And also while I was putting up those numbers, like I benched 225 for a single one time, I was also like 183 pounds and maybe 21% body fat. So I really wasn't that strong given my body weight. I wasn't proportionate. I looked okay, but it's crazy how your perception in life, like the way the world treats you, how much it shows up, at a high body fat versus low. There's only one leg left after that. Yes, you want to be at a low body fat, but you also want to be strong. If that strength is there, if that girth, thickness is there alongside your muscle mass, you just look right. You start to look like a warrior. Otherwise, you just look like a skinny guy. There's something about that build where you're just like too lean for who you are. If you're big and bulky, you don't look sharp. But if you're only skinny and you don't have the strength to go with it, neither circumstance casts an impact. And I can finally say now, nearly 5 years into my fitness journey, but also 3 of those years was spent prioritizing endurance over muscle mass. I can't even tell you what will begin to get unlocked in these next 3 or 4 months. I bet I could uncover what feels like newbie gains, because I do have some amount of muscle memory. So I feel as if I'm about to put on a ton of size, a ton of muscle in a short period of time. And what I mean by a ton of size, like 2 pounds of muscle a month, which is an aggressive thing to say, but I genuinely think I can go for it. I almost have like the bravado or the gall to say that I think I can put on nearly 80% muscle mass in this gaining phase, minimal fat gain, because I'm so metabolically sharp and flexible. And I'll be continuing to do endurance training a little bit, just not high impact and not to the same mileage. So eating well, reducing the amount of cardio I do, and letting those hypertrophy and powerlifting sessions from my past like reinform my build, it's gonna have a profound impact. Now I've already been 1 week into this bulk, so I wanna describe to you my strategy moving forward. 1, with calories, and then 2, the actual training split, and then number 3, mindset. How I'm approaching this next season of my life. My plan is by April or May, I'll be as big as any man needs to be an actor. I'm hoping that I can be my own version of Odysseus, or I suppose the Indian or Middle Eastern equivalent of Odysseus, which is Sinbad the Sailor. So let's kick off with the diet. Now, I'm bulking, yes, which is to say I'm prioritizing putting on muscle. But if you're in a similar phase where you're like trying to bulk for the first time, or you're even in a season where you're like, oh, it's the winter bulk, the word bulk almost implies the wrong mindset about this whole thing. You should almost think that even when I'm bulking, I'm sort of cutting. Why is that? Because as soon as you even say the word bulk, you start to put on body fat. Like, it creates the wrong atmosphere for gains. You are in a muscle building phase. But the first month of this, now that there's no longer 40-mile bike rides, or God forbid, brick workouts where I'm going from a 40-mile bike ride straight into an 8-mile run. That's so taxing to the nervous system that it leaves no strength left over for like an incline bench press. So what I'm doing is actually securing the nervous system first and foremost. And I have this muscle memory when it comes to strength. Like, I have hit 225 on the bench press in the past. I mean, I've hit like a 2.5 plate hack squat for up to like multiple reps. I can still do 70-pound lunges for some reason. I got up to a 75-pound weighted pull-up for 3 reps in August. So I have these instincts like this nervous system that's primed. I remember last March, I actually got to a 405 deadlift for 6 reps at 168 pounds. What this means is I don't need to push the calories in the first month. In fact, this might sound nuts, but I'm keeping the calories at 2,500 to 2,600 just this first month of bulking. Why is that? Because I'm finally bringing the cardio down. Just by bringing the cardio down, especially the running. Now when I go for runs, it's only like 2 or 3 miles at a time. It's absolutely nuts. It's like a mix between running and walking. For someone who's used to averaging 5, 6, 8 miles on a run, to come down to 2, 3 miles on a run is crazy. My swim sessions have gone from like 2,000 meter swims regularly to like 1,100, 1,000 meters, 1,100 meters, just enough to keep the mind fresh. The only thing that I'm sort of keeping in the mix in terms of intensity is bike rides. I am going to be doing a little bit of interval training. Just a few days ago, I did an FTP test, which is basically testing how much power you can hold for 1 hour while on the bike. It's like your number when it comes to cycling for what you can put out. So I did an FTP test and I got 167 watts. I'm sure that doesn't mean anything to most of you, but for those of you who race Ironman, you would know what that means. So I will be doing interval workouts, but that's only 1 hour at a time. And even then, cycling is just not that intense. Like it doesn't drag that hard. So the first month we're going to hit 2,500 calories, and actually the hope is to lose fat and put on muscle at the same time. I can already feel the effects of this just a touch because I hit an all-time PR for incline bench press. I got 160 pounds for 6 reps on incline bench, which is my 6 rep max. And then I've just been slowly climbing up to numbers on different lifts. Later today, I'll go and hit weighted pull-ups. That one had dipped pretty hard, but today I'll come back and hit plus 50 pounds, and I'm going to try to get 6 reps on that, at least on the top set, and build from there. Oh, shoulder press has come up quite a lot. Dumbbell shoulder press came up to plus 65 for 6 reps. And this is just 2 weeks out from the Ironman 73. So the fact that I'm climbing back to these numbers at all is a great indication for growth and success. And the hack squat, I got to 145 for 8 reps, 2 sets of 8 reps yesterday. So yeah, I'm bulking, but I'm starting to bulk at like 2,500 calories. So most likely I will actually maintain the same weight, maybe lose some fat actually, and put on muscle at the same time. In fact, this first month, I might just put on a pound of muscle, maybe a half a pound of muscle. I'll probably drop like 3 or 4 pounds of fat, genuinely, just because I'm going to be strength training like 5 days a week now. Just by the virtue of lifting more, the body fat will probably start climbing down. And then swimming and biking, it really isn't high impact. So that's just going to be there to keep me metabolically sharp, to make sure that I'm insulin sensitive, and the foods that I eat, they contribute towards my performance and metabolism and muscle mass, and they don't get stored as fat. So that's the fundamental premise. Month 1, 2,500, 2,600 calories. Month 2, we'll climb up to 3,000. Month 3, we might climb up to 3,500 max. And then it's just a 3-month long bulk, really. So it's not that long. Maybe I'll see where I'm at in April. I may push for another month to May, but most likely because River Rats 2 will be done. River Rats 3 hopefully will be starting in May of next year. I'm going to want to take April to May to lean out once again, try to get back down to like, with the extra muscle on, it might be easier to get down to 8 or 9% body fat on an in-body scan. So that's what we're aiming for. The goal is just to put on, I got 3 months. I could probably put on 6 pounds of muscle, 5 to 6 pounds of muscle in 3 months. And 5 to 6 pounds of muscle on my frame would get me to like 91 skeletal muscle mass. I honestly think it might be big enough. Like I might finally turn into like a big enough guy. Definitely one of the bigger guys in Ironman 73. If you're in a similar arc, like you want to join me on this, you're actually thinking about doing the bulk, don't push the calories right away. The sloppiest thing you can do is push calories. Sure, you're going to get strong, but you're just going to look dumb. If your face looks fat and you can, overhead press the barbell for 135 for 6 to 8 reps, but your face is fat, no one actually gives a fuck. Okay, no one cares. You're just this fat-faced retard who's overhead pressing a lot of weight. Shut the fuck up, dude. You need to lose some goddamn fat. It only looks cool. It only looks right when you do it while you're lean. Yeah, principle 1, we're keeping the calories low to start. It's just that we're dropping the endurance training. We're allowing the nervous system to recover more. I'm trying to prioritize these other things like nutrition timing. So like having a Rice Krispie bar or 2 before my lifts, lifting when my CNS is completely fresh, if I can, and pursuing it from there. This brings me to principle number 2, the training split. I am trying for the first time in forever, low sets, which is kind of a scary thing to do during a bulk, but I'm going full-blown priority of intensity. It's about quality and intensity of sets, not volume of sets. So in the past, I would do 3 or 4 sets. I think if the calories are really high, like the 3rd month into the bulk, it might make sense to do 3 or 4 sets. And I'm just like, going all out in the third month. My calories are really high and I'm just pushing for that last month of gains. That might be fine. That might keep me fresh. But fewer sets and even fewer sets per workout and really trying to PR every single lift. That is the priority. So let me describe my training split to you. I'm actually doing 5 days a week, and on any given workout, it's on average 9 to 12 sets. So very low sets. It's kind of nuts. But when you're doing compound movements, if you're really trying to go for a PR in a compound movement, even one single set can tax you completely. So I'll be doing reverse pyramid training. Most lifts, it's 2 or 3 sets, like the top exercise, the first exercise that's the most important. That one, I'm going to go for 3 sets. The other ones after that, I might come down to 2 and just really prioritize trying to PR on that lift. So day 1 is leg day. We kick things off with leg day because it's the hardest. People don't realize this. I didn't for a while, but when you hit legs, it has an insane systemic effect throughout the entire body. It's your biggest muscle group, enormously anabolic systemically. I don't know about you guys, but I always get turned on after leg day, like turned on for life, but turned on for love and romance as well. I can just feel the testosterone oozing to me. It just makes you pent up, like it charges you up. So, I mean, if you're feeling that turn on, it's a good indicator that your testosterone is being increased, and leg day is a big part of that. So hack squats, major unlock. Instead of doing back squats, which I'd been doing in the past, or leg press, which is fine, but it's not as much of a compound lift. Honestly, I don't think leg press is as growth stimulating or just good for your muscle mass. But hack squat simulates a back squat very acutely. So the main lift on day 1 is hack squats. So then we go 3 sets of hack squats, trying to add a rep or weight every time, then lunges, then leg extensions. And that's it. And then maybe bicep curls after that, just cause. Day 1. So I'm just trying to progress on the hack squat. Day 2, incline bench press. 3 sets on incline bench, 2 sets on dumbbell incline bench, then flat barbell bench press. A lot of bench pressing. Incline is the priority. So it's 3 sets, 2 sets, 2 sets. And then the finish off 3 sets of dips. So that's 10 to 12 sets on that workout. But the plan is to try to get stronger on the incline bench press. Day 3, weighted pull-ups. It's my back day. So on that one, we got 3 sets of weighted pull-ups and then 1 set body weight. So actually 4 sets of pull-ups total. Then bent over barbell row, then bicep curls, then cable bicep curls. I find that weighted pull-ups are so taxing that there's not much left to do after that. It's really kind of a low volume, high intensity type approach, but the goal is to just get stronger. If I can just get stronger on the key lifts every time, or even just over a couple sets, then I don't think there's a need to do like more than 12 sets per workout. If you're really locked in and trying to get everything you can out of that one set, you don't have that much in the tank. I'm not trying to survive these workouts. I'm trying to PR in every single one of them. So that's day 2, weighted pull-ups. Day 3, overhead press. And I'm going with dumbbells right now because I hit the legs hard enough on day 1 that standing barbell overhead press, I just don't have the stabilizations for my quads. Even now, I can feel my legs are sore. So I don't want to have to use my legs. I think barbell overhead press is incredible, but I'm switching to dumbbells right now. I'm on 65s. So when I go back in a few days, I'm going to go for 65 pounds on my top set for 8 reps. A hack for this, you can actually get micro plates on dumbbells. So I can actually add 2.5 pounds, 1.25 pounds on to each side with these little micro plates, and you can attach them to your dumbbells. For anyone who's tried to progressively overload on dumbbell overhead press, you know how hard it is. Like, they only go by 5 pounds on each one of these machines. 5 pounds, you cannot, necessarily add on 5. That's a huge jump when it comes to dumbbell overhead press. But you can add these micro plates. So if I do get 65 for 8 reps, maybe even 9 reps the next time I do overhead press, I'll be switching to the micro plates, and then we'll be going for 67.5 for 6 reps the following week. Speaking back on this now, I'm realizing how much more knowledgeable I've gotten when it comes to training. I don't know everything, and I'm sure I'm getting a decent amount wrong, but there is advantage to this. It's about mechanical tension, increasing reps and weight. It's not just about volume. Volume is potentially a driver because it signifies total work, but your total work doesn't need to be super high if the intensity is there. And the benefit of only hitting 9 sets on leg day, I find that if I smash leg day too hard and do like 15 sets, so I do the hamstring curls and hip thrusts as well, all on one leg day, it's fine, but it taxes the nervous system so much that it actually reduces my upper body strength. So yeah, the goal is to not destroy myself on leg day, only 9 sets on that leg day, and then it leaves room. So we got dumbbell overhead press, lateral raises, reverse delt flies. And I think that's it. and then maybe some tricep extensions if I feel like it. But once we get to bicep curls and tricep extensions, it's just to kind of like do another 3 sets in the gym that are fun and to enjoy my music rather than to go for some kind of PR. With arms, you know, it's a secondary muscle group. So it's like, I trust that the incline bench and the dips and all that stuff is going to build up the arms alongside the other work I'm doing. It's just accessory work. The hack squat day, incline bench press, weighted pull-ups, and now dumbbell overhead press is day 4. Day 5 is hamstrings, glutes, and arms. So it's just like the backside of your legs. 5-day-a-week split, just trying to add sets, trying to add reps, trying to add weight every single time, especially focusing on weight and reps rather than more sets. And then as I start to plateau, I might add more sets later on to make the most of those added calories. And it's going to be an imperfect system, but I feel like just the intensity of that is going to make a big difference. This brings me to the last act. 2026 is going to be a huge lever when it comes to mindset. What is the reason for that? It's been so many years now where I will be doing the same thing over and over again. It's solidified now, like the path is solidified. I'm doing the same thing over and over again. You got to trust that. I need to find ways to not get sick of it. It's like not my first year in the gym. It's not my breakout year in the gym. I've learned so many different training modalities since I started. Low rep power building, you know, focusing a lot on the compound lifts for low reps. Year 1, year 2 is actually more about running, and then hypertrophy work with my trainer Austin, and then leaning out for the first time. Slow learning lessons. Then years 4 and 4.5 got hijacked by Ironman. So a lot of that nervous system energy got replaced by trying to swim, you know, because actually the truth is when you're trying to learn to swim for the first time, you are depleting your nervous system tremendously. You just have this one CNS, you have this one nervous system, and whatever you apply it to with tremendous intensity, it is going to eat it. It's going to eat that thing up. Like you don't have the real estate to get great at many different things. I find with periods of study, if I'm studying with intensity or working really hard at the day job or something like that with tremendous intensity, it eats up that nervous system energy and it takes away from the gym. And if I go hard in the gym, then I can't focus on money-making endeavors as easily. So you only got one nervous system. So focusing all that time in years 4 and 4.5 on learning to swim and getting really good at that definitely impacted strength. So the mindset now is to go in every session fresh. And you need to need that PR. You need to need it. You must have it. It's only 3 months. It's a short bulk. And since I'm starting the bulk at something like 12.5% body fat is already kind of high in terms of starting a bulk. You know, if I was starting the bulk at 8% body fat, that might be better because it would leave me to bulk up to like 12 or 13%. But I'm starting at 12.5, so I have to be okay with the fact that I might climb up to 14%. I might climb up to 14% body fat. I got to be okay with that because if you can put the muscle on, then you're going to look so much better. You know, body composition, it's completely correlated. Like putting on muscle is the same more or less as losing fat. It's about that ratio between those two things. It's a new arc that is before us. Okay. It's about going to the gym and Ironman training is still there. It's still there. So this morning I did an 1100 meter swim, but I'm slowing down. I'm not grinding as hard with the swim. I literally did a biking FTP workout on Sunday and then I swam today. And then I ran like 3 miles yesterday or 4 miles yesterday. Baby amounts with Ironman training just to keep that there in the mix. But it's really about body composition right now. I think I'm going to blow up. Honestly, I think I'm going to put on, well, only 6 pounds of muscle, but I think that's going to look crazy on me. I'm like 168 pounds right now. So climbing up to 175, even 180 with the glycogen and water, climbing up to like a lean 180 or a leanish 180, like a 180 and 14% body fat is going to look pretty fucking dense on me. And then to strip off the fat after that and get down to like, I'm guessing what it'll be like 170 shredded, 172 shredded. That might be the final mark. You know, that might be about as big as an endurance athlete needs to get. So the mindset is locked. Like I'm craving the PR every day. I'm going to sleep on time instead of just like, going ham on the calories out the gate. I'm doing things like having beet juice prior to the workout, 1 or 2 Rice Krispies prior to the workout, showing to the workout completely fresh and showing up to the workout needing that PR. Like when I go do weighted pull-ups tonight, I'm going for it. I am going for it. I'm going to get plus 50 for 5 or 6 reps. You know, I'm going to build from there. So when you need it, it hits different. Then things begin to happen. It's a very exciting time. 6 pounds of muscle. Oh my God. 6 pounds of muscle on an already lean Indian guy. You just don't see it. That jacked and lean Ironman 73 athlete, all world athlete status. That's what it's all about. So I hope this video's been a little bit informative to you, but we are trekking on and great things are coming. We'll catch you next time.